this for 40 days.
Last season I did a test ride on Arctic Cat's new RIOT X, and I made some pretty bold claims about just how good I thought that sled really was. This season, they swapped its cross-action skid with a 146-inch version of their Alpha 1. I had very little bad to say about the 2020 RIOT X because it did such a great job off-trail while still maintaining good ride quality and some level of handling on the trail. I've tested a few of Arctic Cat's Alpha 1 equipped mountain sleds over the years as well, and while my impression of them in the deep snow is actually quite good, my impression of them on the trail is anything but. Will the addition of the Alpha 1 be an upgrade or a downgrade for the RIOT X? To answer this, we need to first go over what the RIOT X actually is supposed to be and what it is not. First, it is not supposed to be a mountain sled. At least, it wasn't last season. The original idea behind the RIOT and RIOT X was to offer two separate crossover models, one biased to on-trail and one biased to off-trail. The RIOT, for example, has a full-width trail front end and makes an excellent trail sled that's surprisingly good off-trail as well. The RIOT X, on the other hand, has a 40-inch wide mountain front suspension setup and is supposed to be an off-trail sled that can still be realistically ridden on the trail. And last year, I think Arctic Cat hit the nail right on the head. This season's Alpha 1 equipped RIOT X sees an improvement in off-trail performance. Like all of Arctic Cat's Alpha 1 equipped sleds, it's almost shockingly easy to get it on its side and keep it there. When side hilling in a bowl or in the trees, this characteristic is very desirable. I find the combination of short length and alpha skid make the RIOT X extremely maneuverable and easy to ride in tight places. Another characteristic of the Alpha skid frame that really benefits this ride is its ability to clear more and carry less snow in the skid frame. This is a real thing. It's not fluff. It is definitely noticeable, and it makes the sled feel lighter in the deep stuff. It's also easier to dig out when you get stuck, but since I never get stuck, I definitely wouldn't know. The Alpha 1 is also lighter than the cross-action skid frame, so in one fell swoop, Arctic Cat saved almost 10 pounds off the weight of the RIOT X. And lighter weight is always a good thing. While there are a lot of benefits to utilizing a 146-inch version of the Alpha 1 skid in the RIOT X, this move also comes with some drawbacks. First and foremost is on-trail ride and handling. Look, the Alpha 1 was never designed to be used on the trail. It's a very specialized setup that's designed to work in the deep snow. So it wasn't ever a surprise to me that Alpha-equipped Arctic mountain sleds didn't ride very well. But because the rear of the sled is so tippy from side to side, Alpha-equipped mountain sleds also don't handle very well on the trail. They tend to roll up onto the outside ski basically all the time. Again, not a big deal for a sled designed to be used off the trail. But the RIOT X is supposed to be a crossover sled. An off-trail biased crossover sled, yes, but a crossover nonetheless. Alpha 1's harsh ride and tippy handling traits pretty much erase any of the positive on-trail handling traits of last year's RIOT X. Despite Arctic Cat's claim that it's still a crossover this season, it is my opinion that the 2021 model is an off-trail only sled. So if that's the case, just how good is it off-trail? Well, with Arctic Cat's CTEC 2 800 SDI engine under the hood and this 2.6 by 146-inch powder clot track out back, it definitely likes to get the front end light. In other words, it's a bit of a wheelie monster, which is fun when you want it to be, but you really have to ride with your weight forward to keep the nose from constantly wanting to go up on steep side hills. Because this sled is shorter, it doesn't have as much flotation as a longer mountain sled, so you really have to ride it aggressively with lots of throttle to keep it from getting stuck in the really deep stuff. And I think this is actually a good thing. Today's ultra-long mountain sleds can be almost too easy to ride sometimes. Unless you're in the tight trees or the steepest terrain, they'll pretty much go anywhere without a whole lot of effort. The RIOT X 146 brings back some of the challenge to riding in deep snow. It tests your abilities and allows you to push your limits on terrain that a full-length mountain sled would pretty much just laugh at. As I said earlier, it is my opinion that the Alpha 1 equipped RIOT X is no longer a true crossover sled. This is now a short track mountain sled, but once you as a buyer understand this, I don't think it's a bad thing at all, because the RIOT itself is a really good off-trail sled that easily satisfies the needs of true crossover buyers. And the RIOT X is now more than good enough in aggressive off-trail situations to satisfy the needs of riders who don't technically ride in the mountains, but still ride in conditions that are steep, deep, and tight. Now that I think about it, the RIOT X would be the perfect sled for off-trail riding in places like Newfoundland or Maine. If this is the type of terrain you ride in most, definitely get out to your local Arctic Cat dealer and have a talk with them about the 2021 Alpha 1 equipped RIOT X.
If you like what you've just seen, click the subscribe button and comment below. And make sure you check out all of our great videos on SnowTrax TV's YouTube channel.